Hey everyone, so today we're going to jump into what might just be one of the most iconic graduation speeches of all time. We're talking about Steve Jobs' 2005 address at Stanford. Our goal here is pretty simple, to break down the three powerful yet incredibly simple stories he shared and unpack the wisdom inside. No big deal. I love that. It's so understated. He's not there to give some grand, sweeping lecture. He's just sharing lessons from his own journey. And this first story, it's all about trust and how the most random, unpredictable moments in our lives can end up shaping our entire future. All right, let's dive into this first story. It all kicks off with a huge, kind of risky decision that, honestly, from the outside, looked like he was throwing his life away. He dropped out of college. I mean, you can really see the chaos here, right? He leaves this prestigious, expensive school for, well, for nothing, really. He's sleeping on friends' floors, scrounging for food money by returning Coke bottles. But in that chaos, he found a kind of freedom, and he used it to follow his curiosity, stumbling into a calligraphy class. Now think about it. What's the practical application for that? At the time, absolutely zero. And there it is. That's the whole point. Looking forward, there is no way you could draw a line from a random calligraphy class to revolutionizing the personal computer. It's impossible. You can only ever see how those dots connected when you look backwards. So what he's really saying is that you have to have a little faith. You've got to trust in something, your gut, destiny, whatever you want to call it, that it'll all make sense down the road. And that trust is what gives you the confidence to follow your heart, especially when it takes you way off the beaten path. Let's move to the second story and see how this idea gets even more intense. Okay, this next story is about love and loss, and we're talking about maybe the most famous firing in business history. It's just a powerful lesson in resilience and how a completely devastating public failure can somehow become the best thing that ever happens to you. Just look at the contrast here. It is staggering. At 30 years old, at the absolute height of his success, the company he poured his life into, the company he built, pushed him out. Can you even imagine? He said he felt like he'd let a whole generation of entrepreneurs down. It was a humiliating, very public failure. But here's where he flips the script. Instead of seeing it as the end, he reframed it. It was a liberation. That heavy weight of being Steve Jobs, CEO of Apple, was gone, and he was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again, totally free to experiment and create without all that pressure. And man, look what he did with that freedom. He didn't just bounce back. He launched two more revolutionary companies. He started Next, whose technology would actually become the heart of Apple's big comeback. And, he co-founded Pixar, the little studio that completely changed animation forever. That huge failure led directly to this incredible explosion of creativity. And this is the big lesson for all of us. Through the public humiliation, the uncertainty, the one thing that kept him going was his passion for the work itself. You have to find what you love because, as he put it, sometimes life is going to hit you in the head with a brick. And when that happens, that love is the only thing that will keep you going. So don't settle. Okay, his third and final story. This one is probably the most profound. It's about using the simple, unavoidable fact of our own mortality, not as something to fear, but as our most powerful tool for living a life that truly matters. This is the question he asked himself every single morning, looking in the mirror. It's such a simple but incredibly powerful gut check. It just cuts through all the noise and forces you to ask yourself if you're really living the life you want to be living. He did this for 33 years. Think about that for a second. That level of consistency, and he said whenever the answer was no for too many days in a row, he knew he had to change something. It was his personal early warning system that he was drifting off course. So why is this so effective? Well, because remembering you're going to die is the ultimate filter. It strips away all the non-essential junk we worry about, what other people think, our pride, the fear of failing or looking stupid. All of that just falls away, and you're left with what is truly important. This is his final call to action from the story. Your time is finite, so have the courage to follow your own heart, your own intuition. He says they somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else, all the noise from other people's opinions, is secondary. So, you've got these three very different stories, connecting dots, love and loss, and facing death. How do they all tie together? What's the final piece of wisdom he wants to leave us with? It really creates this powerful framework for how to live. Trust your past, even the confusing parts. Love what you do in the present, because that's your fuel. and live with the urgency and clarity that comes from knowing your future isn't infinite. And he closes not with his own words, but with a farewell message from a publication that he loved when he was young. It was a simple wish that they put on the back of their final issue, and he passed it along to the graduates, and really to all of us. Stay hungry, never be satisfied, always be driven to learn and to create the next thing. Stay foolish. Be willing to take risks, to try things that other people might call crazy, to follow your heart off that well-worn path. It's a perfect 4-word summary of a life lived completely on its own terms.